Okay, I am going to introduce myself as Drew comes in, but my name is Jordan Chadsey, and I am the tech founder of Macro Kitchen and of Sustainably Verified. I love creating product strategy, and I love sharing all of the resources that I can, whether I create them or share them from others. I love to share anything that can help take ideas from mind to market. So we have Drew in here today. Actually, she just joined us. But before she gives her introduction, I just want to say that I'm so excited that we're here today talking about sustainability in business. It is so important. And I'm so glad to have Drew here because she is such a creative, such a fantastic person. And she was my wedding florist. Well, she is my wedding florist still. She is just so fantastic. And, since my wedding was delayed in April, I'm super excited to have her joining me kind of in this second round phase of planning my wedding. So I'm super glad that she's here. I think she might be reconnecting. So just give us one moment. But I want to tell you a little bit about why I hired her. I think that, well, first of all, if you look at their Instagram, it looks like the best of Pinterest florals, but just on one page. It's amazing. She also is just a great businesswoman. She is an inspiration, just a total girl boss. And I love that they are very intentional with their designs and are very sustainable. So we'll be talking about a little bit about that today. Okay, just give me one moment. I think she might have dropped out for a second. So, Drew, if you guys haven't seen it, you should check out their profile. She is a floral designer, and she just launched Rogan Fox Marketplace, and she's going to share a little bit, kind of in an intro. She's joining us right now. Hi.
Hello there. How are you?
Great. How are you? I was just giving a little bit of an intro, how I know you, why I chose you. I said basically Rogan Fox's Instagram looks like the best of Pinterest florals just on one page. And just what a great person you are. And I wanted you to share a little bit about, just introduce yourself, share a little bit about Rogan Fox in general. Love the
Yes, yes,
hat, by the
yes.
way.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is actually to cover up a crazy little hair day.
Oh, yeah, well, that happens. I mean, the weather's kind of been all over the place here anyway, with it being summer and then cool, then kind of back to summer again.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Well, I am Drew from Rogan Fox Floral Co. And new business owner to Rogan Fox Marketplace, which I'll be
Mm,
talking about that a little bit later on. Hello, hello. So I actually am here based in Los Angeles, and I'm a floral designer. Having a lot of fun doing our thing. We specialize in installations and sustainable design, and we like to do events, weddings, showers, the whole nine yards. So that's kind of what we do. We've just been doing our thing for the last almost 10 years now, and here we are enjoying it every last minute of it.
and that's what I love. You're just always so excited, so positive, and just so creative. And I think what's so neat is that sustainability is not just kind of something that you've adopted because it's, a concern. It's
Yeah.
truly a growing concern. I think, especially during the pandemic, we've been really aware of our resources.
Hmm.
And, what's really great about you is it's always been part of what you do. And it's
Yes.
always been one of the pillars of your business. It's just a part of your creativity. It's how you work. And yeah, so I wanted to
It's
kind
true.
of touch on that in both of your business, but I want to start
Mhm.
kind of with the floral design piece because I
Yeah,
think that's really interesting because that's dealing with clients, events,
right.
making something creative, but doing it in a sustainable way. So I'd love to
For
hear how
sure.
you do that.
My gosh, there's so many different avenues, and with involved sustainability in the Rogan Fox, the floral part of the business, right? So even with starting with onboarding with clients, when we start that whole entire process, trying to keep everything as paperless as absolutely possible, doing everything
Yes.
digitally. And I know it seems redundant, right? Or it seems like you don't even have to say it, but it's true. There's a lot of paper that's kind of wasted in that brainstorming kind of process, when you have mood
Mm,
boards and you're sketching out a lot of different things, but we try and keep everything as digital as we possibly can when we're actually starting that process. And then when we're kind of guiding our clients, right, into certain facets
mm,
of that process, and we're going over the design, we really try to, kind of keep in mind things that we can source locally. That's
right.
huge. Sourcing things locally is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And even doing our setups for different ceremonies and whatnot, we
Mm,
really try and keep in mind having to use materials that are not wasteful.
right.
That's kind of how we do it. So
And
that's, yeah.
and just to kind of, because, I'm coming from the tech side, I love sharing the tools that people use in their
Yeah.
process. What do you use for your onboarding or for the mood boards? Because I love that too, because it's not just, you make a great point. It's not just, oh, here's your contract. It's
Yeah.
also, let's communicate. Let's keep it all in a cohesive place. What do you use?
So I actually use Dubsado.
Oh,
Dubsado
that's great.
CRM. I've actually been using Dubsado for a good long while. It actually helps me to stay super duper organized, make sure I'm on time for meetings, making
Right?
sure I can
Yeah.
go completely paperless. Like it's the most comprehensive system that I use that's served me right over the last several years. So I love Dubsado. I think it's amazing.
I mean, if with us, everything is just going super digital, especially because of everything during the pandemic. We have to like
Totally.
communicate a lot differently. And you are actually one of those special people who pivoted or added on to your business or added a parallel business
I
during this time.
did. I
And
did.
I think even before getting into the sustainability of the marketplace, I kind of
Mhm.
just want to talk about that because that's really, I don't know. I feel like in this time, it is kind of, some people need to do out of necessity, but I feel like you just
Yeah.
kind of took the bull by the horns and just did it. This is my time to do it. So I want to hear a little bit more about the marketplace and how that
Yeah.
came to be during COVID-19.
Well, I'll be really honest. The marketplace was something that I wanted to do for a really long time.
Yeah,
I love decor. I love decorating. I love decor. I think it's so cool. And I meet so many designers that are amazing. And I'd love to
right.
carry their things. I think it'd be so cool. So what happened was COVID reared its ugly head actually early on. I think a lot of us kind of got taken aback by it in March,
Mm,
but really, the US was talking about this kind of in January, and nobody was
right.
really paying attention. A lot of my friends overseas were telling me, "Hey, Drew, this is coming. This is coming. So you need to make sure that you are on it." So we
Right.
actually started with pivoting back in January when we first heard that all of this was kind of going to happen. And we
Right.
knew we knew this industry was going to take a hit in January. So I actually already jumped in and I started doing the ideas around the marketplace, and that's kind of how we started. So that's kind of the beginning of it. We kind of had a heads up, and that's what we did.
No, it's incredibly smart, and really I know we've talked about this many times. You really just have to be aware of your surroundings and plan for the best and the worst, really. So
Yes.
I feel like you're so great at doing that, and that's what makes you a great event designer too, because you always have that in mind no matter what happens. I'm sure you have
Always.
backup plans on backup plans, or like
A, B,
ideas.
C, D, E, F,
Right.
G, H. I have plans for everything.
You have to,
Just to
and
troubleshoot. Yeah.
then that way you get to be a lot more creative because you have that kind of already set up and ready for you. But I
Yeah.
want to hear more, because this is your new venture, and I know you've done a lot of sustainability
Mhm.
practices that you've incorporated into a marketplace, which again, this is florals. These are e-commerce type pieces.
Yeah.
It's not always the easiest to keep sustainable. So
Not.
I want you to tell me about what you're doing, because I've definitely seen it and I can tell you it's definitely very
Yeah.
sustainable and very impressive.
I appreciate it. Well, it's funny because sustainability, that's actually the reason why I think we're able to be as successful and to really help our
Mm,
overall bottom line. We knew that when we are going into it, we wanted to stay as sustainable as possible. So down to our packaging, really sourcing
mm,
packaging that's made here in the US so that we can try and keep it as in-house as possible, not waste as much money in shipping costs. Things that are
right,
recyclable and recyclable taping and shipping materials are huge. And sometimes they can be quite expensive, but you have to dig, right? You got to have those
right,
companies that have in mind that sustainable things and that are recyclable things are more cost effective. So
right.
that was one area that we started in, and then the other area was making sure that when we had our vendors and we had our artists that were coming in, they're using materials that are sustainable. They can reuse them, and I really wanted to make sure that I had local designers that I was working with. That really loved that idea and wanted to make sure that they're as earth friendly as they possibly can. So the ceramics and using organic
Yeah.
cottons and all that good stuff, sustainable things are huge. So they were important to me when I was looking for my
So,
vendors.
so when you're choosing, so this could be for the florals or
Hmm.
for the marketplace, how do you choose your vendors kind of from a sustainable standpoint, other than what they use or and
Yeah,
where they are? Are you looking at some of their practices, or
I am.
and then also are you looking at kind of what's going on even with certain climate changes that happen with
Yes,
the with your farmers? I know you were talking about that.
right.
If you could share a little bit about kind of what's happening there, how you manage that, that would be awesome to hear about.
Yeah. So two avenues. So with the floral side, I'm always trying to source as local as I possibly can. Not
Right.
only the fact that local product is actually just looks better to me, but sourcing local product because their practices can be different. A lot of florals that are imported, unfortunately, are not grown in the most sustainable fashion.
Right.
The floral industry is actually very, very toxic at times. Very, very toxic. A lot of chemicals,
Right.
petroleums, a lot of that stuff is incorporated in so many different facets of the business. So it was important that I tried to source as much as I could locally because they can grow
Hmm.
organic. They have different techniques that are here that maybe aren't overseas. So I
Right.
really, really wanted to make sure that was important. And actually, that's probably one of the reasons why you picked me, Jordan, as your florist, because of a lot of the sustainable things that we can do. So that was cool.
Yeah, and I love just I think I'm incorporating a lot of things in the wedding that are uniquely LA because I actually just a few days ago, it's been 5 years since I moved here, but I kind
Hmm.
of wanted a little homage to the area, a little bit of old Hollywood, and there's
Yeah.
something about getting things locally for the sustainability aspect, but also just for the community. I think I also picked my vendors intentionally as well, and this is for anyone who is looking to, maybe who's planning a wedding at some point. We'll see what's going on in the next little
Right.
bit. But if you're in that space where you're looking for vendors, that was something that was important to me. And it wasn't just about, what's the impact on the environment or the waste or are things able to be recycled. It was really about, I really wanted to support local smaller businesses,
Mm-hmm.
ones that a lot of female run places, because I just wanted
Right.
to support those. And also just when people are sustainable, they're also very intentional. They're intentional with their
Right.
decisions.
You have to be
They
intentional.
Right. They use their resources well.
Yeah.
They can get creative in a pinch.
Yeah.
They also are the ones that probably are going to stay in business. Let's be honest,
It's true.
because they're
I
the
mean,
ones that
it
are watching their stuff.
you have to because when you are sustainable, you are doing very, very intentional decision making. You've done a lot of your research, ahead of time. So
Right.
you're having to make certain decisions and be very, very strategic with the decisions that you're actually making. And then you're able to see how that affects you over the bottom line. The things that I actually do love about, using sustainable practices in what we do is that our bottom line and our numbers are more predictable. COVID
Yep.
has thrown a lot of stuff for a loop. It has thrown it for a loop. Like pricing for florals, pricing for
Oh,
materials. It's like,
it's like a new market, right?
what
In
just
a way.
happened? What planet am I on right now? Yeah, it's almost like a completely new whole beginning. So when you're looking at all that, we're able to kind of predict more of where we land, and we're able to keep our pricing as close as we possibly can while we're adjusting with a lot of the things that are surrounding us. So it's
And that
huge.
was
It's a really
a
big deal.
And that was another piece that I was actually really impressed with as well. Like you know, a lot of the other kind of more the aesthetic piece, the interaction with you, like how we work together was way above anything else. But even just your pricing, it was like the way that you would explain it and the way that you would show, okay, instead of, well, this is my price or nothing. This is, okay,
Yeah.
what's your budget? Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we work well together, and let's see what we can do in this space, right?
Right.
And if we need to adjust, we adjust. But you were very knowledgeable about what you could do within that budget, as opposed to just putting hard limits. And what I've noticed is a lot of the hard limits tend to be, they want to have a lot of buffer there to make sure that things are, you know, they're trying to get everything in. And sometimes it's, I guess, money gets spent on things that maybe aren't always as much in the plan, or they kind of are shifted around to different pieces instead of, you know, right up front, you kind of know what's going on, what you're doing. And if this doesn't work out, this is what I can change it out with. Have you seen a lot of people, you know, because I know that you put it on your website, which is great that you have that as part of your branding, sustainability. Have you noticed a lot of people have been seeking, I know it's a little, maybe right now it's a little different, but have people been seeking out that at all? Or have people asked, or in the past, have they asked? Have you noticed?
They have. I've actually noticed a lot more people within the last 6 months or so asking for our practices and what we do behind the scenes. Where is this from? Where is this located? Do you source a little local? Can you get this? Can you get that? And it's funny because normally we're the ones approaching it and saying, hey, this is what we do. This is what our practices are. But we actually have had a lot of people who are definitely have that on their radar as something that's important. I think as we kind of are looking more into ourselves right now, right? We're having a lot more time to really think about, you know, certain decisions that we make, and making our decisions count. I think a lot of people now are being more picky and choosy about where they're putting their money, where they're choosing to spend their money at. So they're asking these questions. And so, yeah, I think that's super important. It's important to kind of make sure that we have those practices incorporated now and intertwined in our day to day. That way we can answer the questions and be a part of the solution, not the problem. Yeah.
Of course. I love that. So I just kind of, as ending point, I think you kind of touched on this a few times. I have a feeling of what you might say, but just kind of in general, just to kind of wrap it up, I wanted to, how do you feel that sustainability has created success in your small business? It's not a chore. It's something that has given back to you.
You know, there's so much that I can say about sustainability. I would say, honestly, it's made me feel more comfortable during these tumultuous times. And it's such a funny little thing to say, but it's allowed me to have more predictability in my business. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm a part of the solution and not the problem. And it also helps with sustainability in my business. It keeps me around and make sure that I'm going to be around to fulfill a lot of these contracts that we have for 2021 and 2022. You know, a lot of events got postponed, and we understand that. But knowing our numbers and knowing where we stand and making sure that we have a good, strong basis for who we are as a company is going to help us to make sure that we are around year after year after year after year. So it's invaluable, and it's an invaluable tool. And I think every business should definitely invest and see how they can incorporate practices that make sense to them overall.
I absolutely love that answer. And I think that's a common misconception with sustainability, is it's only about your impact on the community or the resources around you. It's really also a huge benefit to you too. And like you said, there's actually a report that just came out not too long ago that a lot of companies that have good ESG reports, or basically they're very green companies, are doing better during this time. And it's, again, for the same reasons. They know what they're working with, and they're able to plan ahead, just like the farmers used to with like the Farmer's Almanac back in the day. Like they know what's going on. It's a
they know what's going
practice.
on.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. And I love this conversation. I think this is a conversation that should be had again and again so that people really understand the basis. And Jordan, I love what you're doing with this conversation. I love what you're doing behind your brand as well. Amazing.
And of course, I'm so happy to have you on and to show people that it's not just about corporate social responsibility, or, you know, we have to hold brands accountable, of course, but you can as an entrepreneur in your business, as you launch something new, you can use this to your advantage. And the thing is, you're going to be able to operate out of a place of abundance, not scarcity. You're not scared.
True.
You're coming from a place that just feels good. So
And
that's also great
confident.
too.
Confidently
Yes.
feeling good, right? I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love it.
Well, thank you so much. Can you share where people can find you, where they can, look at your stuff, and also if they want to contact you about anything? I want you to
Yes,
plug.
yes, yes, yes. Please, yes, please visit me at roganfoxfloral.com. Underneath the tab, there's the marketplace too. So if you see some goodies that you like, holler at it, because once these are gone, they're gone. We're not restocking. There you go. And then of course, follow
I
me on
love it.
Instagram at roganfox. We're always posting crazy stuff that we're doing, little tiny events here and there, and posting some beautiful things. So to get your little flower fix on a daily basis and follow.
Thank you. And by the way, I got a dried floral bouquet back when it was Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, it is still alive in my mother-in-law's house. I think that's it's just a testament to you that you're selling out all this stuff, but then there's people who still have your stuff hanging out in there,
I
with that
love
dried
it.
flower. Hey,
It
what are you
means
gonna
so
do?
much. It
I
means
love
so much. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Jordan. I
Of
love this so
course.
much. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous day. And tell me about your business too.
Oh, well, my real only plugs is you can just follow me at jordan.chadsey. I have my links there. I said in the beginning, I'm the tech founder of Sustainably Verified and Macro Kitchen, and I work with a lot of businesses in sharing tools or strategies as they kind of take their ventures kind of from mind to market. So I'm here to just kind of help out because I'm doing it all the time myself. So
I love it.
hearing from you and how you use sustainability in your business from a strategic perspective is super, super helpful, I think, for everyone. I'm so happy that you were here today. So follow me at jordan.chadsey. Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment or DM us. If you like it, we can definitely do this again sometime soon. And, if you have any questions for either of us, just reach out.
I love it. You guys have a fabulous, fabulous day. And remember all
Thank
of this
you.
too. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye-bye.